Hi, this is Lexi
and Sid
of Hess Van Schlemmer Metalworks and Art, home of the Schlemmer Metal Wolves. We are a small but furious family-run welding, fabrication, and metalworks shop with CNC capabilities and now full-scale powder coating operation. We bring unique, affordable quality art to life within the realm of practicality. Whether it's signs, sculptures, railings, shelves, furniture, or even just powder coat for your rims or your patio set, give us a look, check us out on Facebook or Instagram, or call 618-670-5724. We are Hess Van Schlemmer Metalworks. That was terrible.
Oh, we tried.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Let me tell you about my friends over at Naked Vine, located at 1624 Clarkson Road in Chesterfield, Missouri. Hey, swing by and visit them anytime, Tuesday through Saturday. This week, great live music from kicking off Jerry Week. Wednesday, August 1st, Alligator Wine. Playing all your favorite Grateful Dead tunes from 6 to 9 over there. Thursday, August 2nd, Phil and Carson from the Scandaleros. Friday, August 3rd, The Big Idea. And Saturday, August 4th, Nick Detmeyer and the Sawdusters. And I will be back out at Naked Vine on August 14th with my singer-songwriter storytelling showcase, including Anna Shanoff, Matt Wynn, and Bobby Stevens. So keep an eye out for that show coming up soon. But all these events and more can be found at nakedvine.net. Be sure to follow along with them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And again, come on out for a cold drink. They got all kinds of great whiskeys, wines, and cold beers, and live music happening. Everything at nakedvine.net. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the show.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
This is Jon Bonham. You're listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast, y'all.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri, hanging out at the beautiful Das Bevo with Jon Bonham. Welcome to the show, my friend.
What is up? We're in the basement of the Bevo Mill. Pretty cool spot, huh?
Oh yeah, man, this is really neat. I actually never been down here this far. I was telling you I did a podcast upstairs before and had a good time in doing that, but as far as down here, this is just a beautiful space, man. I didn't realize all this was down here, so this is
It's still got some old school charm and allure. I was telling you earlier that my family, like on Christmas Eve, would come here for a meal. I can remember eating fried shrimp in this room that we're now podcasting in. So pretty cool.
all comes full circle.
Right.
Yeah. So you're a guy I've kind of been following for a bit now. I guess I really started taking notice because of Naked Vine and their calendar, and I was watching a lot of what he was bringing out there, and among other stuff, I kept seeing your name pop up a lot, and then I finally got to see you play live out there at Naked Vine, like I said, which is, I love that spot because one, they now we're proud sponsor of Rock Paper Podcast, which
Sponsorship is good.
Yeah, right. But I love that I live on Wentzville, so they bring in a lot of my favorite acts from the city to a little closer
Just
to
a little
me.
closer to you,
right.
absolutely. And you got Brian Herr as Master of Ceremonies.
Yeah.
When we play about once a month out there, and when we have shows, I always, usually, since it's Jon Bonham and Friends, meaning rotating cast, I do list Brian as Master of Ceremonies because he
Nice.
definitely keeps the vibe going with the, Neil Young videos before and after.
There you go.
The pouring of libations. So everybody get out to Naked Vine. We play there. When we do, it's it's usually on second Fridays. So come check us out at Naked Vine and check out Brian Herr. He knows a lot of great musicians and he brings them out to Chesterfield.
Yeah,
It's great.
for sure. Yeah, doing a great thing out there. Any Thursday through Saturday, you can find some great live music there. But so like I said, we kind of talked that night and just kind of I kind of put the bug out there like, hey, we should do this. I think you had actually messaged me like maybe a year ago almost or something.
That sounds about right.
There was a
type of things that a year and now we're finally meeting.
Yeah,
there we go. That sounds
right.
about right for me.
I know we've been quite a while. It's kind of been a while in the making, but we all have crazy lives trying to balance all this stuff. But I'm glad it all worked out today. We are here to talk about everything you got going on, but I thought this would be fun to again kind of dive a little deeper and get to know more about you. And
absolutely,
since like I said, we only got to speak kind of briefly there, but at the show.
It seems like the way it happens nowadays is, on social media, you see your friends doing things with people again and again, and you're like, we should be friends too, probably. So I saw you interviewing and, having podcasts with lots of people that I really like and respect. So I was like, I would like to eventually do that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
A year later, there you go.
Yeah. But you mentioned coming down here for dinner and Christmas or whatever, so I'm guessing you grew up in St. Louis area?
I grew up in the St. Louis area, not in the city. I grew up, born and raised in Webster Groves. It's a suburb not far from the city, just down 66. And grew up there, and I am now an awesome PE teacher there during the school year.
Oh, very nice.
And at Avery Elementary School, awesome school. And I also, during the summer, just got done with it, teach high school health for summer school. So, Mark Hamill, that's me in Hawaiian shirts, all summer school on. I love being a teacher and I love playing music. But been in St. Louis all of my life except for little time I spent in St. Augustine, Florida, right out of high school. We'll bring it to music. First of all, one of my first true musical loves was the Beach Boys. I can remember going with my mom to get a tape deck installed in our station wagon, and she let me pick out a tape, and it was the Beach Boys' Endless Summer, and I memorized it. Every lyric, what song comes next, kind of like my son now does with Thomas the Tank Engine. But, I was a little older than him anyway. But so since the Beach Boys, I've always had a beach lifestyle. So the one time I've lived out of St. Louis, it was to surf in college in St. Augustine, Florida. Got that dream, took care of it, and then I came back to St. Louis, and I've been doing this other dream of music and having an awesome teaching career. So
very cool.
Things work well. Yeah.
Yeah. You ever throw some Beach Boys in there in your set?
Never. Probably like in my room might be what we could do.
Yeah.
It's like the keys. I mean, there's guitar capos, so that's a bad excuse. But yeah, we haven't done Beach Boys so that musical memory of the Beach Boys being the first thing that I was just obsessed with goes into like my then becoming a musical, educating myself in music when my dad took me to either a Venture or Target or whatever, pulled out one of the like $3.99 Chuck Berry tapes, and I'm probably in 3rd grade, and says, I know you like the Beach Boys, here's Chuck Berry. They took it all from Chuck Berry, and that set it off. Ever since then, I've been connecting dots between who influenced who and who stole from who, and that's what I really love about music. That's what really I just dig the finding out who influenced who, or hearing somebody cover somebody different. I just love the intertwining of everybody, which happens a lot in St. Louis, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I've discovered a whole lot of music backwards. It's like you find out. Like, I mean, I was real big into Zeppelin for a while, and then I realized that how much.
Great drummer, by the way.
Yeah.
Great drummer.
Yeah.
I've Guitar Center when I've had to go there. No offense, Guitar Center. Well, maybe some offense, but definitely my name has been announced over the loudspeaker when I'm there.
Right.
Not because of my St. Louis music career, but to let everybody know that Jon Bonham is in the building. Yeah. So we got that out of the way. I'm the other Jon Bonham.
Yeah, the other Jon Bonham.
Long ago, my friend and mentor, Fred Friction, who's just been about the best friend my music has ever found, he and I were talking, and he did give me the advice that you probably need a different name. But then it just got to be going so long, it's like, I can't throw away that maybe a couple people in St. Louis actually know that I'm a different Jon Bonham, So I'm going to still write it out. Maybe we can switch the and friends for something cool sometime soon,
right? But I realized that how much Led Zeppelin sampled and borrowed from every blues artist, so like so then you dive into Muddy Waters catalog and Willie Dixon and all these guys that wrote all these songs and things, and so
isn't that fun to just inherit a new catalog of a musician to then delve into?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, I love it. Like that's a lot of why I do this show, is because like it's just fascinating to me. Like, I started the show being a fan of music, I thought I kind of had a fair idea of St. Louis music, and I wanted to help my friends out, but then quickly realized like there's so much more out there that I had no idea, and even in St. Louis alone.
Absolutely.
And 600 of these later, I'm still going at it and still just meeting people for the first time and stuff, and so it's fun, man. But I love discovering a new artist and just kind of going down the
rabbit hole, really,
for sure.
Because everybody influences everybody.
Yep.
In some way. So, here's my question for you. If I was to say, like, what artist I could then trace out, like, almost everybody else that I really like, I'm probably like a Bob Dylan guy. Whether it's back in the things that influenced him or the people he inspired, like, it kind of all revolves around Bob Dylan. Could you, like, put that into perspective for yourself as far as what you like to listen to? Is there, like, one band? Is it Led Zeppelin that got you into all that? The other?
I don't know.
Like, do you have an artist or something that everything orbits around? Because I'll be honest, Bob Dylan is it for me. I mean, and Neil Young's right there next to him. He's the moon, but Bob Dylan's the planet.
Sure. I would say locally, the guys that like originated all this for me, like, wanting to dive into St. Louis music, were my friends. I went to high school with them, and that's how I started going to their shows and following them around. But it was Exit 714 and Hollow Point Heroes, and they're both like modern rock. They play a lot of pops and stuff, and both bands have since disbanded. Hollow Point Heroes kind of rebranded as, and now they go by Outrun the Fall. Anyway, but like those are the guys that kind of like got the ball rolling, for sure. And like I'd go to shows, and then I would meet other bands, and I'm like, hey, I like those guys, and then I would go to their shows, and then like it's like that scene in Wayne's World when like, and they tell two friends, and so on, and so, it's like so I went, and that's really how it all was for me, and
And then like, and now I'm here, man. Like I've dived into a whole different, realm of all these different pockets of St. Louis music as I've been continuing to learn and try to discover it all.
Yeah, you seem to hit on all all opportunities that are out there. There's all sorts of music being made, and it seems like you get to most of it.
And I think as a fan, maybe like probably my personal taste, a lot of it started out of my parents, coming from them, what they influenced me on. And I was raised on ZZ Top and Allman Brothers and Skinner and like a lot of hard Southern blues rock and all that stuff like that. And so like it just and of course Dad was also big into like Conway Twitty and different countries, stuff like that too.
Are you from St. Louis?
Yeah.
Or this area?
Sure.
So like my parents, the car, my whole growing up was what 103.3 used to be, the oldies. So it's 50s and 60s. Yeah, 50s and 60s. Like I was so inundated and in such a great way that I can remember like going to basketball tournaments with my friends and like the parent has on 103. I know every word. I know who the artist is and the song name. And my friends are like, "Why do you know all that?" It's like, I've been listening. Yeah. This is what we play. And yeah, my parents grew up loving music in St. Louis. They used to go see Ike and Tina play, and they had a good record collection and definitely instilled liking music.
Good times and great oldies.
Exactly. Yeah. It's you can still find that type of station, but it's not 103.3 anymore.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of satellite radio, Sirius, and I love that there's like classic vinyl, and then there's like deep cuts and like all that. Like they really break it down, and like it's fun. So I really like what they got going on. Plus it's commercial free. So
yeah, but that was probably my baseline of 50s and 60s classic, not classic rock, but the classics from the 50s and 60s, early rock.
Oh yeah.
Love that stuff.
Oh yeah, me too, man. Some of those like are just so catchy, those pop hooks and stuff and everything.
The girl groups, the Phil Spector, the Beatles.
Yeah. Those guys did it right for themselves.
They did.
Yeah.
I mean, Stones or Beatles, attitude, I'm kind of a Stones guy, but like you can't deny the Beatles. So to say you're a Stones guy detracts from the Beatles, which you can't really do. So it's like, how do you answer that question?
Right. Did you catch that Paul McCartney
no, I know what you're talking about. Carpool Karaoke?
Yeah, Carpool
No,
Karaoke.
I didn't.
It was awesome.
Everybody else did, though.
It was very good. It was like almost like a short, documentary kind of thing. It was like a
longer one where they roll around. Was it Liverpool that they were at?
They went to, he recorded all in Liverpool. They went to Paul's childhood home. They walked Abbey Road. They, they did all this stuff and like, and it was like a really, really cool just to kind of like, watch James kind of nerd out as a fan, but watch Paul like kind of reliving this stuff because like he acted like he hadn't been to the house in forever, so like it was really cool for him. So he's like, me and John wrote off a song, and all this stuff. Like he was saying all this stuff, and like it was just really
you get butterflies watching it basically.
Yeah,
that type of stuff.
And it was I don't know, it was cool, man. Like, I probably would have picked some different songs. If I had to handpick some of the songs that he did, I probably would have picked a couple different ones, but it was still really cool. I mean, they're all great.
Right.
But hearing Paul sing them and stuff, and it was just a really neat thing.
Maybe James couldn't get in all the keys that they needed for your picks.
Yeah, right. Maybe that's it.
I think I was watching channel, I don't have cable, I was watching channel 2.2, the Carson reruns is what I like to do every night. Never any good musical acts. Like, I didn't ever realize it, but like Carson never really had music on there. It was always just interviews, but I guess nostalgically really liked watching that at night.
Yeah, it was kind of, I guess that was sort of before my time when so I don't know, but I know I follow a lot of comedians and they all talk about how they, how much they
make or break it on Carson, or if he invites you back to the couch. Yeah. I'm a huge fan. So music, huge fan, comedy, and like cooking.
Sure.
So those are the really big things besides being an educator of young minds. Those are my three passions that I'm really, really into. I was very sad that Anthony Bourdain passed away. He's like one of my favorite writers because I read tons of nonfiction. I'm not a huge fiction reader, but like I find things. Anthony Bourdain got me into Marco Pierre White, who's like this rebel chef. Like, he's cooler than any of the TV chefs, He's really awesome guy, and I read his biography, and he's talking about, which I took to think about music as is like recipes, dishes, like the basic. There's nothing new under the sun. It's all refinement and like the way you're putting it together, which is, I mean, music is almost that way. You know, there are different combinations, but like there's nothing new under the sun. Neil Young, in one of his live albums, it's all one song, and like I kind of get what he's saying with that, of like it is all one song and we're all interpreting our way of singing our song, you know? And I just like, we getting back to the intertwinedness of everything. I love that about music.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. I at one time I considered going into culinary school. I really got into cooking at an early age, and I don't know, it was fun, but like I didn't want to make it a career. I didn't want to, you know, because I know
it's a hard career with not much pats on the back.
Right. So I was like, I'd rather just do it as a hobby, cooking for friends and family and having fun with it. And
are you the cook in your family?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like I cook a lot in my house. I'm more kind of tend to barbecue.
Right.
That's kind of especially.
I just got our first grill, a little mini Weber, so that's going to be my new step. But yeah, I make all the meals in our family, and I love it. It's still like work when you get home to make a meal, but it's fun to be thinking about during your day.
Oh yeah.
Hey, what do I want to make for the family tonight? You know?
Right. But yeah, so I was you were saying the music was there as you guys were listening to it, but did you have your parents or anybody play, or anybody that influenced you wanting to perform?
Mom played piano some, and she sang in the choir. And then first music stuff for me was elementary school. Just, you know, you'd put on a little, this is back in the days when you'd have like a Christmas concert and you'd put on like weird white robes and bows and look cute as a kindergarten. But like our music teacher at my elementary school, for some reason took a liking to me, and so she'd like give me a speaking part in the music performance, and it's very weird, but she invited me to go to McDonald's with her, and she knew I was taking piano lessons, so to play her piano at her house, which, I mean, I'll never forget that. Like, this is the first person connected with music that, like, for some reason, she saw that I was a person that she could make an influence on, and so, yeah, we went and had a cheeseburger, and then I went and played piano, and it was just, like, something that stuck with me of, hey, music's really cool, and I want to keep thinking about it, you know. And she was an old school one. Like when I was a kid, we were doing like George M. Cohan presentations. You're a grand old flag, like those sort of, and like songs from South Pacific. She's having like kindergartners, first graders singing, but like we'd watch the movie and like understand why the song was where it was, and it was kind of cool. Like these days, I love seeing our kids perform like at my elementary school, but it's like, it's just not the same, you know, with backing tracks sometimes. Like, I don't like when kids... One time they let me play guitar for one of our musicals at school, and that was cool. Yeah. But, like, when there's a backing track and kids singing, it kind of... Just let the kids sing a cappella. Yeah. Acapulco, I was about to say. You know? But yeah, so that was an early influence, and the Webster Groves School District kept treating me well, because then you get to choose an instrument in 6th grade, and I chose percussion, and because I'd taken, like... half a year of piano lessons, they like assume that you got some good music chops or something. They don't. Percussion is the hardest thing to get when you're going to join the band. But since I could maybe fake read a little music, I got to do that, and I did that for 2 years. And the guy who was like my percussion teacher then ended up. He also taught at the high school, and there was Webster Groves High School offers guitar classes, and that was the first time that I actually got serious about a guitar. I had an electric guitar without an amp for a while. That doesn't do much for you. But then when I went my freshman year, I took like Guitar 1 class at our high school, and that's when things really got going. Like one of our assignments was to make a little ensemble and perform a song, and I'd never just done that by myself before. We played The Weight.
Oh, nice.
Me and a couple friends, and then some other guys played like Under the Bridge, and you know, it was awesome. And by my senior year, I was able to get a independent study, which meant I got to spend an hour of my high school day sitting in a practice room playing guitar.
Very cool.
and I, if I wanted to, it meant I got to carry my guitar to school every day and be like, "Hey guys, I play guitar."
Yeah.
I'm a better singer, but I do play guitar.
Yeah. I'm sure that didn't hurt being with the ladies and stuff, trying to having a guitar and things, and
You'd think. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess if you're awkward in conversation, even guitars don't help for you. I think we're doing pretty well, but I don't always feel like I'm the best conversationalist. So no, it was more about people than talking music with you.
Right.
Oh, you like this? That's.
I like. There's a good meme on Facebook with I think it's Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
What it's like, what I sound like, or what I think I sound like talking about music to girls, and then like what it really sounds like, and he's like all like wired out and like got all these like graphs and stuff, and like so it's pretty. It's a pretty good one. But,
and that doesn't have to be just to girls. That can
Right.
be to some dude that wasn't
Yeah.
interested in what you're telling them.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay.
yeah, I go down. I go way farther than I need to go, but and they don't care. But I'm like, it's what
When
I'm
you're passionate,
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
passionate,
Yeah, exactly. So
And eventually you're telling it to the right people, and then
Yeah,
it's,
right.
it feels better.
right. So when do you I guess start writing tunes, man? When's when do you start?
My first so I did like music in church. My buddy and I were in the choir, and we were in the bell choir. You ever seen a bell choir play
yeah.
where you hold them in your hand?
Yeah.
So I would circle my notes on the music and like, okay, the high D, or actually it was the low. The boys got to hold the big bells. But my buddy that I was in church with, he and I are like, we started playing acoustic guitars together, and it was all sorts of different stuff. We'd go on youth group trips. We went to one trip to Michigan, and we were in like the equivalent of a Walmart up there, and found a VHS version of The Last Waltz, which this is before you could find everything you wanted on the internet.
Right.
I graduated high school in 1999. Not super old, but I'm pretty old. But anyway, finding a DVD in the late 90s, a VHS, a videotape of this thing, and like there's a DVD player at this church that we're staying in that night, and we got to like plug it in and watch it, and that was a big deal, seeing all those people. Obviously Last Waltz is a big deal. But he and I would play together, and we played Dylan songs, and we played Townes Van Zandt and Jimmy Buffett, all sorts of stuff, and then occasionally we'd try and write. It was always pretty much separately. Even be like, all right, I'll go in this room, you go in this room, and let's see who can either of us come up with a song in 15 minutes,
right.
like challenge each other. But his name's Jim Schmidt. Our first album, Love on the Mississippi, he's got one song on it called Cold Coffee. But I mean, that's the guy, I grew up playing and singing with, and he's a teacher also. He plays a little bit here and there, but it's like, if he wanted to, he could be in my band any day, because we're in tune, because it's the person I grew up with,
Right.
learning every Tom Petty song and doing all the things, going to our first concerts and all that. So that's around the time we kind of pushed each other to try to start writing our own. And actually, the first times I ever played, we were in the bell choir or whatever, and then they knew we played guitar, so they're like, well, do you want to do special music at church? So he and I would come up with something to play. So I would spend the night at his house, and we'd stay up pretty late and come up with, we'd get like an old hymn and like steal like Billy Bragg and Wilco from the Mermaid Avenue albums. Like we'd steal a melody and put it to an old hymn, and then play it the next day at church, and it went over well.
Nice.
And so yeah, it was like the first time that I really played something besides in a band, as far as an orchestra or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And then in college I tried to write. I've always been a recorder, tape recorders, so I've got tapes that go back to well into the mid 90s of me recording a Tom Petty song, or this or that, and I'm sure there's some stabs at originals too. But the bulk of when I really could call myself a songwriter, as far as these are songs I would play in front of other people, is some people I was back from college living with my parents, and some folks that went to this church I've been speaking of, they were going to go out of town for a year. So I got to rent an amazing house in Webster Groves for $300 a month. And in the basement, I wrote and wrote and wrote. And it didn't hurt that I had just had a breakup.
All right.
So that's where I like really figured out how you start writing songs.
Yeah, heartbreak or falling in love, that'll help for
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you're not, right off a heartbreak, well, then you just have to write and write and write until you get the bad stuff out of the way. Like, nobody can just sit down and write a song every time. Like, you gotta sit down enough times that stuff on the periphery that you just don't even you wouldn't show to a person gets out of the way, and then maybe you can get to something else. My kid is 3.5 years old, and I'm a teacher and all this. It's like, it's really hard to find time to just write it all.
Right.
But it takes hours of getting the crap out of the way before you can even get to like really be writing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you have to get, I don't know what the analogy would be, but like you have to clear the pipes
Sure.
before you can get fresh stuff flowing,
Well, and I've heard too, like, there's stories of like, Nashville or whatever, you got like write 500 bad songs before you write a good one kind of thing, or something like that. Like, you just finally write until finally something good come along.
Yeah. If you're not writing, are you going to come up with anything?
Right.
No. So what's the worst case scenario? You're not going to do anything with that. What's the best case? You do something with it, or it's perfect the first time out, which rarely happens.
Yeah.
But
I did hear a story on Stern show one time with Gavin Rosdale that he wrote. I think it was Glycerine. That was like the first song he wrote.
Yeah.
And of course that song did pretty well. I think he was like whatever, like 17 or 18 or something, whenever, when he wrote and recorded it, and it's like, I was like, man, that's nuts. Like, this, you don't ever hear stories like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then of course, Bush blew up to be one of the biggest bands of the 90s and stuff. And
right.
But
well, there's definitely things with, besides just the craft of having to write and get through whatever you got to get through before you get to quality or whatever you want to consider quality. There's magic.
Right.
And that's not reproduced, and you can look back and see certain times in an artist's career, oh man, that was magic. That was like the craft of songwriting. There's kind of a difference in some ways. Like Dylan, when he started getting hot, to like John Wesley Harding, that whole period was just magic. He couldn't do it. He was sat in an interview with Ed Bradley and was like, I can't do that anymore. I do other things now. But like, it's like I watched the YouTube clip of Dylan getting interviewed by Ed Bradley again and again. He recites from "It's All Right, Mom, Only Bleeding," like just some killer lines. He's like, "You try and sit down and write that." He's like, I can't do it. I did then, but I don't know how you do it now. So I do believe in magic, especially when it comes to music.
Sure.
There's stars align. Neil Young records on full moons.
I heard a story from the Neil on Stern show about he wrote like Cinnamon Girl and a bunch of these like in some kind of fever. Like he was like,
he writes when he's sick.
Yeah, he was
I've
like
heard stories
in a hospital.
The definitive Neil Young bio is Shaky. I've read it about a million times, but check it out. I don't get paid for this, but Shaky is an awesome book. And he writes. He like thinks he feels he gets into some place when he's sick. That he can. That's the last thing I could do when I'm sick.
Well, that's what
orange juice, please.
Yeah. He acted like the way he told the story was that it didn't make any sense to him. He's just scribbling stuff down, and then when he like the fever broke and comes back to it, he could like dissect it all and that's what inspired him to make these songs and then like those are like, of course, turned out to be some of his biggest hits too. So.
Oh yeah.
But those guys are great, man. Those, they're legends for sure. Like, I haven't seen Bob, but I did get to see Neil. I went to a Farm Aid once, and I got to see Neil and Willie and Mellencamp and Dave Matthews, and it was a good time.
The best concert weekend I ever had it happened to be with that buddy that I grew up playing guitar with. He and his other friend picked me up from college when I was in Warrensburg, Missouri. We went out to Grand Junction, Colorado for Bob Dylan and his band playing. Just unbelievable. Dave Alvin came out for a guest appearance, and he's from the Blasters. He's just an unbelievable guy. And then the next night it was to go to Red Rocks to see Willie Nelson open for Phil Lesh and Friends. And this is back when Phil Lesh had Warren Haynes from Government Mule and all that. So that was a whirlwind of a weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's throw some of your tunes in here as we were kind of talking about your writing.
Absolutely.
We did do some live jamming here. What we call this?
We tried in the reverb room. Yeah. At Das Bevo, this basement's got a nice long hall that I've played like parties, and then we've done some live shows here too. But then on the other side, it's got this room that you walk in, and the echo and reverb is just out of control. So we're hoping it's not too out of control for your earphones, everybody.
Let's talk about Tower Grove. This anything you wanted to add around this tune?
Oh, it's talking about basically being on the other side of Tower Grove Park from somebody, you know, having something between you, and that's all that is. It's one I never recorded. I could see it with like some brass and like a big band arrangement, but
Now on the other side of the park tonight, and I can't make it home to you. I'm on the other side of the park tonight. I won't be coming home to you.
But yeah, just Tower Grove. I've lived in somewhere around Tower Grove for the past 10, 12 years, and yeah, just inspired by life.
Yeah. It is pretty wild how much, I mean, I'm guessing, you know, cost of living and all that stuff is included and things, but like how much great art's coming out of like South City area and stuff like.
Okay, so I live on Wyoming, and at one point in time, I'm pretty sure if we align this all up to check. So I live right across from Blackthorn Pizza. At the other end of the street of Wyoming, Tommy Halloran, amazing jazz guitarist and my bandmate at times. Then down the street, John Hardy from John Hardy and the Public, this is 1 block away, is living on Wyoming, the same block. And now on this block that John used to live on is Jacob Baxter. And then, who plays the awesome accordion player, female accordion player that plays with LS Express.
Yeah, blanking on her name right now.
We will think of it before this is over. But she lives there too, so like at least like 5 working musicians on 2 blocks of St. Louis real estate right there.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, that. So, do you think you plan to record that one, or is that something you want to?
Yeah, I'm getting it all figured out.
Yeah.
Our recording is from years ago. It's I love it, and we need new stuff. So I'm trying to explore how to do it, how I want to do it. Do I want to do like a couple songs at a time, and like this day and age, why do I need to record a whole album at a time? So hopefully, you know, before fall, we'll at least start doing some recording, and it's kind of looking like this time through maybe just a track or 2 at a time.
Sure.
And not sure if this will be the first one, because I got a lot that's been sitting waiting, but it was just one that I wanted to play with a little bit of reverb. And I don't generally play harmonica in my band. It's collaborative as far as who plays with me what night, but I got a great harmonica player. It's Spencer Phillips, and then when he's not there, Matt Schmidt, my acoustic guitar player, plays harp. Something like the 3rd string harp player, but the reverb makes me feel like I'm good on all instruments. So yeah, we'll hope it worked out.
Well, like you said, you do go by Jon Bonham and Friends. It's kind of an evolving cast of members any given night. But so sometimes it's like an acoustic player, and sometimes just whoever's available kind of thing, right? You get some,
I've got the luxury of a lot of times planning it out to what the event is, what the mood is, that sort of thing. But I've just got amazing folks there. Myself and Joe Davidson is my drummer. He and I have been doing this. We're friends since 6th grade, and he and I, after college, started jamming together and then getting things rolling. And then he and I picked up Tommy Halloran along the way, and he was the 3 of us did a thing for years and years and years. And then along the way, as Tommy started wanting to do more his own jazz band, we picked up Mark Chechik at that time, and he added a new bluesy thing to it. We've been doing that, and then along the line, I booked the gig, and then I call the first string, if you will. All of them could be first string,
right.
But then I call the next level, and then so I got just all these good players. I got unbelievable backup drummer that when Joe can't do it, Caleb Ward has been playing with me for over 10 years. Since it's a band like that, I need players that I don't have to think about what they're playing. I like what I'm hearing, but I don't have to think about it. And that's what these guys are like, amazing. We don't practice. I book gigs. I get the musicians that are good enough that we come and do garage, rock, folk, whatever you want to call it, Americana, and it's just amazing. And then so for this Bevo gig we've been doing recently, I've been having Joe playing drums as much as he can make it, and then Matt Schmidt is an awesome acoustic guitar player and mandolin player too, and he also sings amazingly. And then this guy, J.J. Hammond, plays a lap steel that he made himself. He made all the electronics himself too, and it's just a real sweet sound.
Very cool.
So we play here at Das Bevo out at the beer garden every other Friday night, first and third Fridays. So you got to come and check us out. We've really got a good thing going for something to do on a Friday night in the summertime. And they got stuff going on here every night as far as your weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So come to Das Bevo. They're letting us record down here. I'll give them one plug.
Yeah.
Come check us out.
For sure. Shout out to Das Bevo. This is, beautiful spot. And yeah, that's a really cool patio they got going on. They got the fire truck and everything. And it's just...
Yeah. I've got a 3.5-year-old, and him and his friends definitely like to come out and play on the fire truck.
Right.
He's been in, I think I mentioned earlier, he's into Thomas the Tank Engine and all the songs that go along with that. But also I got an old school country album in the car that it's got, Will the Circle Be Unbroken, all that. But he picked up Pistol Packin' Mama along the way, and I told him when he was going to come out there, all right, I'm going to play that for you. And I started playing it, and he just started pointing at me and like smiling. And I was like, all right, this is good stuff when you can make your son's day by playing Pistol Packin' Mama.
Yeah, man.
He's dancing out there. So it's a fun time. It's family friendly. It's also like college kids. There's a big area, so people like spread out wherever they want. It's all good.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, so we said every first and third Friday out here at Das Bevo. You can also catch Jon Bonham and friends on August 16th at Joe's Cafe.
Yeah, Thursday night they have concerts at Joe's Cafe. It's pretty much the coolest venue you can see somebody perform in St. Louis. We are honored to be playing there. I've been told for years and years that we should play there, and it only took about 10 or 12 years to finally get us there. But I'm really, really happy. We're gonna get all our friends to come out and join us, and it's just, if you have not been to Joe's Cafe, whether it's August 16th or whenever, you gotta check it out, because it's an art installation basically. It's like, I love Venice Cafe. It's Venice Cafe with a little bit of steroids, kind of.
Right.
It's awesome. So
yeah, I haven't been, so that sounds like a good night to come by for sure, man.
Please do.
And we also every first and third Sunday at the Gramophone and
I've taken the summer off just because we're doing these Friday nights at Das Bevo, which has been great, and making a little more time for the family. So Neil C. Luke has been filling in for some spots for me, and Stephanie Stewart has been filling in some spots, but I just love every other Sunday, first and third Sundays. I play at the Gramophone 1 to 4 o'clock. People come in for sandwiches. My friends don't even know I'm playing, and then they show up, and it's like, oh, how's it going? It's a really awesome, chill Sunday afternoon, and I always, play whatever I want to play. When I'm playing with the band, since there's limited rehearsal, we rehearse for certain gigs, but usually it's, these guys are good enough, we just go. But I can play songs that maybe have more than 3 chord changes and stuff like that. I get to just kind of, I don't want to say play for me, but I get to just do whatever I want to, because you're playing solo. You don't have to have people following you or whatever. And then it's also really good for trying out new songs. And did the people look up from their sandwiches or not? So yeah, Gramophone, great sandwiches. And
do you have a sandwich of choice when you go out there and play?
I'm not big at all on eating before I play. Sometimes to bad effect, if you have a couple beers and then you also forgot to eat dinner. But I don't like to eat before, but I usually take something home. The Danimal is a big one for me. And then also their Philly cheesesteak is not bad as far as Philly cheesesteaks go. I'm kind of a connoisseur, and theirs is worthy. It's worthy of my taste buds.
Mississippi Nights Club's pretty awesome.
I mean, I've never gotten anything.
None of them are bad. Yeah. The specials are always fun too. It's like
I always chicken out. They always are like, and by the way, the special is, and I'm like, it might not go home very well. Or,
sure.
But I just chicken out. It's basically it.
They did one. It was like it was kind of inspired by the Taco Bell Crunch Wrap. It was awesome, man. I don't know. I forget what all they put in there. It was like Doritos and stuff and all whatever. But it was so good. Way better than Taco Bell.
They really care about making really good sandwiches.
Yeah.
So that's the great thing for gigs is when there's a built-in crowd. When they're making sandwiches that good, people are going to be in line waiting for sandwiches, and they're going to hear me. And it's it's just a fun gig. It's one that like I have no issue with. Like, people are eating sandwiches. I don't need applause after every song.
Right.
I'm cool with that. People are like, even better, they put in a $5 tip on the way out. It's like, we're all happy, guys. I've been playing that a couple years now, and I appreciate them letting me take the summer off and filling in with other good people, and I can't wait to go back in the fall to get going again.
Well, you can find all the dates and more at Jon Bonham and Friends on Facebook.
Absolutely.
And you kind of mentioned that record that you had released, and that is also available on iTunes and Bandcamp. And
it is, Love on the Mississippi. It's like technically an EP. We got, I think, 6 songs on it with a bonus track or whatever. But I finally got it on all the platforms. So put it on your playlist on Spotify, along with Rock Paper Podcast. I was telling you, Shane, I was cleaning our kitchen today, listening to podcasts from Rock Paper Podcast on Spotify.
There you go.
That's a good way to get your podcast or your Jon Bonham and Friends.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of different podcasting at work, and it's nice to, like, you just get engaged in a conversation and then kind of get lost in it. And you're, I do custodial work, and so like, I just get to clean and then like kind of. A lot of times I used to listen to a lot with my headphones on, and so nobody could hear the music or hear the podcast, and all of a sudden I would just start cracking up because I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts. So I would just start laughing out loud, and like people just thought I was crazy because just walking down the hall cracking up out of nowhere, So
let's give a shout out to anybody that's like cleaning, doing some menial task while they're listening to our podcast. Shout out to you guys. Get that work done.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Glad we could make it fun for you. Hope we did.
Let's throw one more in here. We did do another jam called "Now That She's Gone."
Now That She's Gone, which
also recorded down here at Das Bevo's
reverb room. We'll call it that. It's got we were recording inside it, and it was such a full sound that I ended up standing like right outside the room. It's like it's got some fullness to it. After shows here before, we've gone down and just played with a couple acoustics guitar, not trying to record or anything, so you don't realize what it's doing.
Sure.
It
sounds awesome, but it's sometimes it's kind of tricky for the mic to pick up.
As
it's bouncing around a little bit.
Right. So, but hopefully it turned out we took a few steps out of the room and still got some of that reverb. But Now That She's Gone, it's one that's on that album, Love on the Mississippi, and it's one that I kind of. You never really know when we play all sorts of songs. When we play out, we play covers, but the covers are album tracks. It's not, we don't play the hits, anybody's hits. We're playing Dylan. We're playing there's no Dylan hits. Never mind. Like a Rolling Stone. But anyway, we're playing album cuts mixed in with my original stuff, so I never really know when stuff works or not. But I can definitely remember early on when we would play this song. The bartenders at the bars we'd play like singing along, and if you got the bartender singing along, it's not a bad thing. And then the other one claim to fame of this song, Now That She's Gone, Tommy Haller and I were playing it, just us on acoustics way back when we used to host Venice Cafe open mic, and Ray Brewer, great washboard player, he'll play washboard even when you don't need him, but that's okay because he's Ray and he's awesome. But the one time he ever backed off a song, Tommy and I were playing a real pretty version of Now That She's Gone, and he sat down and afterwards he said that was so pretty I didn't even want to add washboard to it. So
nice.
So kudos to the two. That's how I determine if I like a song or not. Bartender singing along and Ray's not playing washboard.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah, that's a great you know, because they listen to so much music. So
yeah.
where you can get their attention, because so much of this stuff's background music for them, you know. It's like, so.
My other biggest thing is we play so much different crazy stuff. Is I love it when somebody asks what that was afterwards. If it was an original, that's an original. Or if it was some album cut of some artist that I love,
Sure.
I get to turn them on. Like, that's one of my greatest joys is somebody asking, what song was that?
Yeah.
And then they're probably going to go check that out on YouTube or whatever. It's like that everything connecting, everything leading to everything else is just, I love that about music.
Right. I think that's great what you know, like you're able to, because all of it still sounds like you know, you're doing your version of it.
Yeah, and we mix it with like traditional tunes too.
Right.
You know, we're playing Will the Circle Be Unbroken, and we're playing old country stuff, and we're playing, you know, weird Mick Jagger solo tune, and, you know, a obscure Tom Petty song, and then my originals.
Right.
And it works out.
But yeah, you put those in there, and then people don't know the difference. Like
They never have.
I hate that when I go to shows. Sometimes people are like, well, this next one's an original or whatever, and it's like, if you don't tell them, they might not even know you. And then they'll be like, hey, what was that? And like, oh, that's my
Right.
song. So
It's crazy. There was like a definitely dividing line of when I had to decide what I wanted to do as far as if I was going to play music for money, play it pro, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A buddy of mine was trying to help me find gigs or whatever, and I put out a little CD, and like it was all my stuff pretty much, or obscure. And one of the songs was like Bob Seger, Turn the Page. I could do a pretty good version of that. Not that proud of it. Like I love Bob Seger, but he's not like is a Dylan to me.
Sure.
You know, that sort of thing. But this bar in Clayton was like, yeah, you can come play for us. And I hadn't had any gigs yet or anything. Like, yeah, you can come play, but you're gonna have to learn some more covers like that one. And ever since getting that feedback, I've always played places where they've never told me a thing to play. They've always it's either a good fit or it's not. And we've never been afraid to play a place once. And a lot of times we play a place more than once when it's that good fit, and you feel like everybody's working together and
right.
business is good. It's
yeah.
like that's what we're going for. But like I said, the decision had to be made. If I want to play covers, but I don't want people to know they're covers or them to be the obvious ones.
Sure.
I just want to play what I love and get that across to other people.
Yeah. You mentioned Neil C. Luke, and I just saw Old Souls Revival the other night.
Them.
Yeah, they're great.
One night we were at Das Bevo. We were playing the owner's birthday party down here. They were playing outside on the beer garden, so I was sneaking outside to listen to them in between our set breaks. And yeah, he's great. I love his bands.
The band's awesome. But they did a whole cover set the other night. They just sprinkled a few originals in, but mostly it was all covers. But I loved it. Just that they made them all their own.
Yeah.
None of them really sound anything like the record.
Right.
Neil sings them the way Neil's going to sing them.
Some people say, some people have a real issue with if it's non-original. Well, guess what? If you're playing 3 and 4 hour gigs, which a lot of us do, you're not gonna play all your stuff. And for me, it's been a choice from the beginning. I want to get across the things I love. I want somebody to ask about a crazy Daniel Johnston song that we play, and like, what was that? Or Warren Zevon I've been trying to spread the gospel of Warren Zevon.
Yeah, man.
I've never played Werewolves of London in my life, but yet I've been trying to spread the gospel because he's got such a catalog.
My Shit's Fucked Up is like, that's one of my favorites, man.
He's amazing. I was in college, and it was his Letterman appearance. I knew Werewolves, knew he was a cool guy, whatever. But I saw him playing Rollin' the Headless Thompson Gunner live on Letterman, and I was a Warren Zevon disciple. He died shortly after, but he caught me right before. Yeah. And man, oh man, he is amazing. And it didn't hurt that he happened to be friends with Hunter S. Thompson, and just a cool dude.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, man. So we got possibly gearing up to record this fall, and maybe we might even get some songs out there, maybe.
Yeah. I definitely want to get into a studio with what we've been doing lately. Get it down, Love playing the gigs. It's just, I feel so lucky to be able to have the opportunity to play music, and I know most musicians in St. Louis are just like, this is a great town with so many opportunities, but it's like, I want to also have something to leave behind, and so far we got one album, so we got a lot more music to make, and hopefully we can get that started in the next couple months.
Yeah. Well, I think like touched on there too, like albums are great. I'm a fan. I like to listen to a complete album, 10 tracks, 12, whatever. But like, that it doesn't seem like that's really feasible today anymore. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are putting singles out or EPs or whatever, just easily digestible music.
Well, my attention and like total awe has been drawn from LaPon's just put out 2 singles. So she put out one, I call it High School Lover, and I've been covering it. Like this song I loved from the moment it came out. We played like a Stonesy version of this awesome Poppy LaPon song for months now. And then the other one she just put out is awesome too, and it's in anticipation of an album. But just those 2 got my attention so much. It's like, you don't have to do a whole album anymore. Like, she made a fan out of that one single, just that first one.
Sure.
So it's like, maybe I'll try that. It seems very doable.
Yeah.
To just get a couple tracks down.
Yeah.
Get it together, John. Get your friends together and get some stuff down on wax.
There you go. Yeah.
Are they still using wax? Darn it! It's been a few years since we're in the recording studio.
I think that's what the kids are saying these days. But yeah, man, this has been awesome.
We better save some stuff for the next one, right?
Yeah, for sure. Always leave them wanting more.
Oh yeah.
But big thanks to Das Bevo for letting us hang out tonight. And again, come visit them, grab a cold drink, come see John out there on the patio this summer. And
Annie and the Fur Trappers are the other Fridays that we're not here, so absolutely. And they got rotating cast on Saturdays and Sundays, so do it.
Yeah, man.
It's good times.
Well, thanks, John.
Thank you, Shane.
It's been a lot of fun,
Great
buddy.
to finally sit down with you.
Definitely, man. Yeah. All right. I'll see you soon.
Adios.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Well, yeah, that was it.